Hi, ArcfieldWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on May 31st. A hot morning here in the Mid-Atlantic region, a lot of humidity as well. Today could very well turn out to be the hottest day of the holiday shortened week here with high temperatures, probably between 90 and 95 degrees in the DC to Philadelphia to New York City corridor. There is a frontal system that will approach the area later tomorrow into tomorrow night with some showers and thunderstorms in the Mid-Atlantic region. That front actually stalls for a while on Thursday. Low pressure could ride up along the boundary zone, producing more showers and thunderstorms Thursday into Thursday night. And then eventually by the weekend, it looks like high pressure takes control of the weather in the Northeast, in the Mid-Atlantic region. It should turn out to be quite a decent weekend with comfortably warm temperatures. Tomorrow is June 1st, and that is officially the first day of the Atlantic Basin tropical season, and we've had a posting out on the weather website regarding our outlook for what I believe will be an active tropical season in the Atlantic Basin, with a little bit above normal the number of named storms and hurricanes, and a large factor is a continuation of La Nina conditions in the tropical part of the Pacific Ocean. This is the latest sea surface temperature anomaly map from the Canadian Met Center. And look at all this blue out here in the largest ocean in the world, the Pacific Ocean, extending from the west coast of South America all the way across the equatorial part of the Pacific Ocean. This horizontal line right here represents the latitude of the equator. And again, La Nina conditions continue with colder than normal sea surface temperatures out across a large portion of the Central Pacific. This is actually the third season now in a row with La Nina conditions. It's pretty rare to have back-to-back La Nina tropical seasons, and it's even more rare to have back-to-back-to-back. But that indeed looks like this will hang on not only for the next month or two, but probably right in the fall season of 2022, right through the bulk of the hurricane season, perhaps even into next winter. We'll have to determine that over the next couple of months. But again, this is a number one factor. It is a favorable factor for tropical activity in the Atlantic Basin. And again, you can read more about that on our tropical outlook page at arcfieldweather.com. When there is La Nina in the tropical Pacific, that tends to be correlated, pretty well correlated, with lower than normal wind shear in the Atlantic Basin, and that is a favorable atmospheric pattern for tropical formation and tropical intensification. Meanwhile, in the Pacific Ocean, the much larger Pacific Ocean, overall more important in terms of global tropical activity, La Nina here will likely be play a suppressing role in activity, as it has over the past couple of years. While the Atlantic Basin has been quite active over the past couple of seasons, the far more important Pacific Ocean has been well below normal in some cases, and that same general pattern looks like it may continue this summer season, with lower than normal activity in the Pacific but above normal activity in the Atlantic Ocean. This is not the only player in town. We also have quite a bit of an area here with slightly warmer than normal conditions running from the west coast of Africa to the western Atlantic Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico. And this is of importance as well. Certainly La Nina is a dominating factor here, but we'll continue to watch the sea surface temperatures right here. Typically we'll get tropical waves that move from the east to the west right in this zone right here. They ride along in those trade winds. This time of the year, the trade winds move tropical systems generally, again, from the east to the west. So the sea surface temperatures right in this zone right here are very important for the Atlantic Basin, and certainly for the Gulf Coast of the U.S. and the East Coast of the U.S. Well, I said at the onset of this video that tomorrow, June 1st, actually officially begins the Atlantic Basin season. Of course, that is just an arbitrary determination that June 1st, certainly we can get tropical systems during the month of May. The official hurricane season goes all the way to December 1st, and certainly we can have tropical seasons after that in the month of December, even January on rare occasions. But this is the total precipitation forecast for the next 5 days, from this morning, Tuesday morning, all the way to Sunday morning, as determined by the Weather Prediction Center of NOAA. Area that jumps out at you, and the area of interest in this particular discussion right here, because indeed there is an early tropical threat for this part of the Atlantic Basin, all the way from Cuba across the Florida Straits into the southern part, at least the southern half of Florida. And a lot of this rain is associated with the possibility of that tropical system. We'll kind of look at that with the zero-Z run of the GFS model over the next few minutes here. Much of the eastern two-thirds of the nation still receiving some rainfall, and some decent rainfall right in the heartland. That's always good news this time of the year, because it could be drought conditions, but a continuation of a pretty decent pattern in terms of precipitation for the eastern two-thirds of the nation. Not surprising at all to see dry weather out here in the southwestern states this time of year. Well, let's take a walk through last night's operational run of the GFS. This is the zero-Z version here, and we're looking at 850 millibar temperature anomalies. Again, a hot day to start the week in the Great Lakes, the Midwest, the Northeast, the Mid-Atlantic region. 90 to 95 degree highs, for example. Philadelphia, New York City, all the way down to DC, and here it's showing up as a wide area of above normal lower atmosphere temperatures. Meanwhile, out in the west, continuation of a cooler than normal weather pattern out across the Rocky Mountain states all the way to the west coast. Now let's move forward here, and you watch some of this cooler than normal air will indeed make a movement from west to east. Here we go by tomorrow morning, Wednesday morning, right here. A frontal system delineates colder than normal air to the north and west, and warmer than normal air to the south and east. And this frontal system slides across into the eastern U.S. and can cause some showers and thunderstorms later tomorrow into tomorrow night. But then it kind of stalls out as it arrives in the southern mid-Atlantic region by the time we get to Thursday. In fact, here we are by late Thursday, and still kind of a delineation here between the warmer air to the east, cooler air to the west. Frontal system right in here, and a low pressure area will form right along that frontal boundary zone, enhancing the chance for some precipitation, some showers and thunderstorms on Thursday and Thursday night in the mid-Atlantic region into the northeast U.S. Then we get past that, and high pressure takes over. This is now about 3 days away, Friday, midday hours. Look at that, cooler than normal air moves into the Midwest, into the mid-Atlantic region. High pressure takes control, certainly. More comfortable temperatures coming again to the mid-Atlantic region for the Friday, Saturday, Sunday time period. Look at this, way below normal up across the upper Midwest into the south central part of Canada. We go into the upcoming weekend, and here we go by Saturday morning. A beautiful air mass for this time of the year. This will be the early part of June, and you'll love to see below normal temperatures in the early part of June if you're in the mid-Atlantic, northeast, because that's very comfortable air, probably comfortable humidity levels as well. And the western U.S. tends to flip in the overall pattern from colder than normal over the next couple of days to warmer than normal conditions, at least for a brief time during the upcoming weekend. Well, let's take a look at the surface forecast maps from the zero-Z GFS model run. Kind of a classic Bermuda high type of scenario here, pumping high pressure off the east coast, pumping very warm air into the eastern third of the nation. It basically is the location of that high pressure system as we begin the day here on Tuesday. Winds flow clockwise around highs, and this is the flow that is in existence today right out of the Gulf of Mexico. Southwesterly flow into the Ohio Valley, even into the mid-Atlantic region, the northeast U.S., and that is your typical pattern for very, very warm conditions. Again, 90 to 95 degrees for afternoon highs today in the I-95 corridor region. Now, let's move forward here into midweek, into Wednesday. Here's that frontal system we were alluding to, and it can produce some showers and thunderstorms in parts of the mid-Atlantic region, northeast U.S., later tomorrow into tomorrow night. Probably not a heavy rain event, but then that front tends to stall out by the time we get to Thursday. And look at this, we have low pressure that forms right along that frontal boundary zone on Thursday and Thursday night, producing some additional showers and thunderstorms on the day Thursday into Thursday night. Notice here, low pressure here over the western Atlantic, another sign of a low pressure area. These are possible tropical systems we'll have to monitor over the next few days. This is the 2nd of January, the second day officially of the hurricane season in the Atlantic Basin. And again, this really ends up producing some rainfall across Cuba into Florida. By the way, at this time, high pressure takes control over the mid-Atlantic, northeast U.S. with comfortable temperatures up and down the I-95 corridor region for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Here's that tropical system by the time we get to Friday evening over Cuba. Can certainly have an impact on the southern half of Florida, something we will monitor over the next several days. It tends to move out across perhaps the Florida Straits, southern Florida, into the southwestern Atlantic, and then by the time we get to Sunday morning, it could be situated right here over the Bahamas. And with high pressure to the north, we'll have to keep an eye on it. There are certainly some signs that it could kind of meander around this particular part of the Atlantic Ocean, the southwestern Atlantic Ocean, by the time we get to the upcoming weekend. Always have to monitor those kind of situations closely, see if they eventually take a turn to the north and west. But this is perhaps the first early tropical threat that we'll have to closely monitor over the next several days, especially across the southern half of Florida. Really, all eyes from Cuba to Florida to the Bahamas have to monitor this situation as we begin the month of June on Wednesday and officially begin the Atlantic Basin tropical season. That's it for now. For ArcfieldWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.